Welcome back to It's Life Loudly.
where life is messy, imperfect, and worth sharing.
We're Dalton and Kristen Steichen, and we are excited to share stories and our experiences.
Ones that might inspire, motivate, and hopefully make you laugh.
We are not experts on this thing called life.
We're just here chatting about it.
It's
life loudly.
Hi. Well, what's going on here? I don't get it. That's so fun. Are you gonna send this to people? Bye, people. See you later, alligator. See you in a while, crocodile. No.
Welcome back to It's Life Loudly. You guys are stuck with me today. I am flying solo. As promised, I am bringing you a preteen teen girl chat to parents out there, moms or dads or guardians, aunts, best friends, sisters, whoever needs a little more info on how we handle preteen teen changes in our house. And Dalton was very okay to sit out of this one, which can't imagine why. But yeah, I'm flying solo today. So we're going to dive right in. As promised, I have a shorter version of this already out on Instagram on my highlights. Just because some people probably didn't want to listen and just wanted to hear a little snippet about how we do this in our house, but here's going to be a little more detail about like where this comes from, why it's important to me, why I think that this is a priority that people should make in their home, make kids more comfortable with these kinds of things. Comes from just my personal background and like teaching as well. I've taught third grade, fifth grade, and junior high, and I have seen and helped a lot of different girls at a variety of different ages and at different developmental stages. So we just decided that going into middle school is a pretty big jump. And so in our home, before the summer before middle school, when we have a night where it's just like one-on-one, other kids aren't around, we do, I don't know, girl chat, women's night, becoming a woman, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And it usually just brings on a big giant like eye roll type of thing because they know what's coming, because we're very open in our house about all types of things. So yeah, it's fun. But depending on the ages of your kids, I don't know if right before middle school is the most appropriate time for everybody. I just have kind of always had small kids. And so there's like a little bit on the shorter side, smaller side for their age. But I know like some girls hit their big growth spurts in fourth, fifth, and even sixth grade. And therefore, like that's kind of what like jump starts all of the changes. So some of you might already have girls that are a lot younger that are already dealing with some of these changes. That it's like, oh, maybe we should get going on some of these conversations, maybe even as early as third or fourth grade, depending on the kid, their developmental growth, because everybody is completely different at completely different stages and ages and all of that. So middle school is just kind of what has worked for us, but this could be done with any age kid at any time. I always encourage parents to like stay a year ahead of the game if you can, like, and keep the conversations coming up over and over and over and over and over again. And in school, nurses come in and that's when they show like whole class, girls, boys, videos, have different like chats for them. So that's basically like what we do in our house, except it's a little more fun and a little more like unique and a little more like creative. So since they watch that video in fifth grade, I highly suggest that like even if you think your kid is just far away from any of the changes in developmental puberty things coming, I suggest at the latest fourth grade, right before fifth grade, they should be watching this video or having some of these discussions in your home for the first time. Now, I've just kind of taken the video that the nurses have always showed us because I've seen this video, how many times with students actually, like in my class. It is called Always Changing and Growing Up. There's a girls, there's a boys, and I think there's even a co-ed. I've only ever seen the girls because I'm always just in the room with the girls being the girl teacher. So I've only ever seen that one, and I really like it's on YouTube. I really like how this video is done. Like it's partly like animated, but they ask tons of questions. So I highly recommend if you have a third, fourth, or fifth grader, watch this video in your home before they have to go watch it in school with all of their peers so they know what to expect. It just makes the experience way better. And then watch it every single year after that until they have bypassed all of these things and all of these things are already happening to them and they don't have to worry about these things like coming anymore. It doesn't just talk about girl developmental changes. It talks about like hygiene things like let's start wearing deodorant. Let's make sure that we're brushing and flossing our teeth. Let's make sure we're taking care of our hair because our hair is probably going to get a little more greasy. Our skin. Let's talk about like maybe we need to start doing some different things with our skin and showering and like just a ton of different things like that, as well as like, the big change things that are going to be happening. But it just brings all of that hygiene, taking care of yourself. This is how to handle this. This is how to do this. This is how we use these things. And so I think the video is really good. I don't know if their nurses now use something different. I've been out of the fifth grade classroom for a while, so maybe, but I think it's still worth a watch, even if you want to watch it as a parent first, just to see like what it is. Go find it on YouTube. That's a great place to start. So before fifth grade, my kids have seen that video. So by the time they're going into seventh grade and we're doing this big like girl talk night or whatever, they've seen that video, you know, 3 times. If they've watched it more than once at school, 4 times maybe. So they know what's happening. So we always start our night with that. We watch that same video again together and, open to like any more questions about that. By that time, they're just rolling their eyes because they're like, okay, we've seen this a dozen times, Mom. We know, we get it. But this time it was a little different because Dalton was actually here. And it's not like he was like actively engaging in like the conversations in the living room of like the videos we were doing and the things that we were taking part in the conversations we were having, but like he was like doing his own thing. He was like in and out of the room a couple different times. Like I really actually, I'm not saying that both parents have to sit down and do this whole thing, but I think it's really important to know that like if I'm not here, if mom's not here and something's happening and you don't understand what's going on, your dad is a safe place to go to. Like your dad knows all of this stuff. This is not new to him. He has a wife, he has kids, he has sisters. He has, like it's not, you don't have to go talk to him about it, but it doesn't have to be something like you're embarrassed about. I've had male counter teachers and I've had, especially like in fifth and sixth grade, I've had girls come up to me and be like, what happens if I need to tell Mr. So and so? And I'm like, Mr. So and so is married with daughters. He knows more about this than probably I do. Like just telling them like, hey, like you can come like, cuz many kids have had to come to me like in my classroom when they've like needed help. Girls come to me and I'm like, it's okay. Like if you have to tell a male teacher or your dad or you know someone else if your mom or your aunt or whoever is not there. Like it's okay. And so it was kind of nice that he was kind of like in and out of the conversation, kind of watching the movie with us and like kind of just like making some comments or whatever. It was like he was there, but he wasn't there. So it was kind of nice. So if you want to do it as like a dual parent, have mom and dad there to do this big night, go for it. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. I just think it's kind of fun mother daughter bonding in our house. So we handle it like that. So the first thing that we do in the evening is watch this developmental video. And right after that, I have a gift bag already prepared that's got a tons of stuff in it. So if you watch my little recap, I kind of went through some of the things detailed. Of course, one of the biggest things in there are feminine products, different sizes, different kinds. I try to buy ones that look like fun and cute for like teens, something a little more than just generic whatever. Um, so that stuff, of course. Then also something that's different than when I grew up, we did not have period underwear or special products for like swimsuits, like or even like special swimsuit bottoms. Like we did not that as far as I know that did not exist, but like those have been huge if you want to like just a game changer for a lot of kids and just like different things that they can use to feel a little more like secure, especially like at night at bedtime or sleeping or whatever. If they have to go over to a friend's house, they have a little more protection for that kinds of stuff. So there's a couple of brands that I really like, and I will shout those out. I was a little disappointed this time. The swimsuits had to go back because the sizing was weird. There was not like full coverage in the back, and I've ordered these before, and I don't know. So like if I get a good brand of swimsuit stuff, I will let you know. But the Bam Body bamboo underwear for women and teens, look that up. I think they're really good if you use them correctly. So that was just one. And then another thing I got a 4-pack variety of a makeup bag kit. So it comes with like a large bag, two like medium sized bags, and then a small bag. You could use them for makeup. You could use them for, keeping feminine products in. You could use them for the toiletries. You could use them for whatever. So I thought that that was kind of fun. And then in that, I usually put like in 7th grade is when my kids are allowed to like start like wearing some makeup and like we do some skincare. So they got like moisturizer, new deodorant, mascara, some different like lip products, hair products. So like a new fun like detangler for your hair. You could do things I didn't do that you could do, like a new hairbrush or a new maybe a curling iron or a new toothbrush, toothpaste, like things different, other different like hygiene stuff like that. I also do like a pack of the favorite Gillette razors that I use with like replacement blades. Um, I get a box like with that in it. So basically anything could go. Like, you're trying to like help your teen like be more prepared when things like start to happen, but you want to make it fun too. Maybe like some nail polish and things like that. And so we go through all of the stuff that's in the bag, talk about it, how we use it, whatever. And then we go into the bathroom, and that's when like let's try it all out. Let's try it all out. Now you can get as detailed as you want about this, but like even as like, okay, here's mascara. Here's how to use it. Here's how to take care of it. Here's how where it goes when you're done using it. Like especially like we have a little boy running around our house. We're not leaving razors in the shower. Like, here's how we use it. Here's how you shave your legs. Like, let's practice. Let's do it right now. Here's this cool new detangler or perfume or lip product or whatever. Here's what it looks like. Here's how to put it on. Here's how to take it off. Here's how to do this skincare. Here's how to use this face wash. Like, physically do everything as like a makeover party. Do it all. Like, do you know how to use this? Do you know how to dispose of this? Get rid of this? Wash it? Anything. Like, you could do hair, maybe some hair braiding and curling, and you could do face masks and whatever. We just go into your room or the bathroom and just dig into all of the fun products that you just bought. And like, you'd rather have all of the experimental things going on in your house than kids trying to learn about all of these products and all of these different things that people use outside of your house. Like, you want your kids to have a clue. So we do that for a while. And then you could, I had made slush, and then we had like some snacks or whatever. But you could even like, let's bake something if you had enough time. We didn't have a ton of time. We started kind of late. But you could like let's make a snack together or bake something together, make some cookies. And while we're doing that, like, do you have questions? Like, are there things that I can explain more? Are there things that your friends have talked about already, or things that your friends are doing that you're curious about, that you're wondering what that is, or things you've heard people say? And you just want to keep the door open, and maybe it won't be anything. Like, maybe now is not the time that they want to discuss it, but they know that the door is open to discuss all of those things. After that, we did some nail painting, which is just, fun, relaxing. And then we watch a movie. And in the past, I've just watched like fun teen, preteen, girl, chick flick type movie. But this time I wanted to try Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which was a book by Judy Blume. And it's set like, I'm pretty sure, in the 70s. So it is kind of funny how they handle things so differently than obviously like we do now, which I think actually like makes it a little bit better and a little more comical because there's that generational difference of like how things are done. But I'm pretty sure, like, I remember reading this book as like a teen, and I kind of feel like it was a way like moms were giving girls this book so like they could learn how to be prepared, because I think like, a lot of times people grew up not having moms and grandmas that really were open to talk about body changes, just because it was more of like a hush hush. We don't discuss that. That's private stuff. That's just kind of the vibe I get from talking to a lot of women now, like that didn't have a lot of open conversations with the women in their life. And so this book I think was like written as a resource for that fact. And then a couple years ago they made a movie out of it, and I had never seen it. And it's PG-13, and normally I would always preview a PG-13 movie with before watching it with my kids who especially aren't 13, but I went on Common Sense Media, which is also a great tool we've talked about in the past. If you want to know exactly what is in a book or what is in a movie, it will tell you word for word, like the words that they're used, the phrases that they are. And I looked at it, and there was kind of a couple of things that were red flags. So like this next little bit, like I'm going to be reviewing the movie. So if you don't want a spoiler, feel free to like skip ahead a little bit, because I'm going to be kind of talking, but this might be a good cue for you of like what's in the movie. Do you want to show it to your daughter or not? On Common Sense Media, it said that ages 10 or 11 this would be appropriate for. So I was like, okay, that probably means it's safe. There are some language things. And then obviously it is all about development. So there are going to be some developmental things in there. So a couple of the red flags that it's not anything that you would have had to skip over, but maybe just things that you needed to explain a little bit. So one of the big things was that this whole time it's called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. She keeps having conversations with God, which I think is great. Like it was opening the door of like it is totally okay to have conversations with God all day long. She was an 11-year-old girl who grew up with a mom who was Christian and a dad who was Jewish. And so they told her like she wasn't going to be any religion until she was old enough to decide for herself. And so she's kind of going through like an experimental, like, what does it mean to be Jewish? What does it mean to be Christian? How come I'm nothing? Like, are you there, God? Like, is there a God? Like, she's kind of like battling that with her family. And so then you have this family dynamic of these two sides of the family, like the in laws disagreeing on how to handle things. So, like, that's a part of the movie. So, the adults in the movie kind of have their own struggles with like those kinds of things going on, while this girl is kind of like figuring out what it's like to be a preteen teen girl. And so, one of the biggest things that happens first is they move, which, of course, like moving, having to make new friends, starting in a new school, like that whole is the first like social anxiety problem, right? And she gets into this group of four girls. And of course, like it's kind of like Mean Girls, but it's like not that bad. But of course, there's the one girl who's like the leader of the group, who like is so mature and so beyond everybody else, and like she's the boss and she's making all these rules or whatever. And she's like so excited about like she has to wear a bigger bra than everybody else, and she's just like, it's just like everybody knows that like in a group like that, when she's trying to just like make new friends and she doesn't exactly know you, she's just going to go along with whatever these other girls are saying. So it's like her learning like, oh, like I wanted to be in this cool group, but like maybe in the end maybe I don't, like maybe being a part of that cool group wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. And so like her learning that social dynamic too of like, what does it mean to be like, is it worth being cool or is it worth being a good friend? um and so some of the things these girls do in their little club is, number one, they have to wear a bra if they're going to be in the club. So it's them telling their mom they want to go shop for a bra for the first time, and like that whole thing, and them stuffing their bras and like seeing how they look in the mirror, which is just like funny. And girls giggling and like dancing in their rooms talking about kissing boys and having crushes and um having, oh my gosh, and it would be so cool to like get your period, because that just means you're really like mature, you're older and you just want to be older, like, it's kind of that thing of like them just like dreaming about being older and being more mature, but then understanding like what comes along with that, like it might be just okay to be a kid. So a couple of the things just to like be aware of are that at one point the girls steal one of the dads must be like a doctor or something and steals an anatomy book, and they're looking at male and discussing male anatomy. It's pretty short, and the girls, like, they're just grossed out and like talking about it and like freaking out, and just, I mean, I thought it, like, we laughed. I thought it was kind of funny. And then one part I had to explain is then someone goes and steals somebody's Playboy magazine, and it doesn't show anything. It just shows like a girl on the cover in a swimsuit, so you can just tell, like, oh, we are looking at mature women right now. So like that, to me, I'm like, well, that could have been left out. Like we didn't really need that. And then the girls are doing these like secret chants because they think that doing these secret chants and exercises is going to help make their boobs grow bigger. And so, I don't know, a lot of it was just like funny and ridiculous. Like, it was so ridiculous that it was just like, but like, we all know that, like, growing up, at some point somebody stuff their bra to be like, "Oh, what would this look like?" or whatever, like, because that is what, like, all preteens, teens, girls or boys are just like, "What is happening? Like, what is all of this? Yeah, like, what's going on with my body? Like, what is happening to all of these?" Especially, like, they talk about, like, a couple, one of them had, like, an older sister, so then it's like you're spying on your older sister and your older siblings because they're, like, way ahead of you, and they're like, "What's happening?" And I don't know, it's just very fun, and, like, the mother-daughter, like, and even the whole family concept of, like, the mom in the movie is, like, dealing with, like, her own things and, like, trying to fit into groups too, and so there was, like, that dynamic, and them, like, trying to start a new home in a new neighborhood and be involved, and, trying to help their daughter who's, like, insecure and just kinda wants to go back home to her old life, and I don't know, I thought it was very, like, sweet and very, like, good for this night. Like, the fact that, like, the entire purpose of me doing this night with, like, our kids is, like, let's talk about all of the changes. I don't know if I would ever just go watch that movie for fun. Like, the whole point of the movie is literally, like, we are all changing and developing differently at different rates at different times, and it's all okay. That's, like, the point of the movie. The part that I liked the most is so this group of 4 girls, one of the girls gets her period first, and it's not the leader of the group, and the leader of the group is very upset, very mad that she didn't get to be first. Like, why are you first? Like, I'm more mature than you or whatever. And so they're sitting around and talking about, like, oh my gosh, you have this. What does that mean? What does it feel like? What is it this? What is it that? And then Margaret goes to talk to God and be like, can I be next? Or like, can it, like, I want to be, like, I don't want to be the last one. Like, she's so nervous about being the one that's, like, furthest behind because girls had already made comments about, like, what she looks like in a swimsuit and things like that. And she gets a postcard in the mail. It must have been over spring break or something, from the leader of the group. Just wrote on the postcard, "I got it," assuming that, like, oh, I was on vacation and I got my period. So that makes Margaret even more upset because she's like, oh, now 2 people in the group have it and I don't have it. And anyway, she ended up going to a play or a show or something with the leader of the group's name is Nancy. I should just call her Nancy. Nancy's the leader of the group. Her family's going to a performance and she was able to take a friend, so she takes Margaret with. And so in the middle of dinner, they go to the bathroom and Nancy starts screaming and crying and is really upset and just like, you need to go get my mom. Like, you need to go get my mom. And she's like very like it was a very serious like scene in the movie, and the mom comes in and like she's like, you have to unlock the door, I can't get in, like she's like, I can't get up, I can't, like, she's frantic in the bathroom, and um Margaret's standing on the outside not knowing what to do, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, is she okay, is she sick, is she whatever? And she's like, no, she just got her period for the first time, so she's like a little shook up, she's a little like concerned, and like she's gonna be okay or whatever. And then Margaret learns that like Nancy had lied. Like, she thought it was so cool and wanted to lie about having it before because it makes you so cool and makes you so mature and so much more developed than everybody else. And then Margaret was really upset because she's like, Nancy had lied to her. But so it just showed like it's just like you could just feel in the movie where the girls were like, wow, it's not always rainbows and butterflies to grow up. Like, it's actually hard, and it's actually kind of scary, and it's actually vulnerable and there's a lot of insecurities, and like you may think it looks cool because you're looking at all of these older girls and these high schoolers or whatever that look like they've got it all together, when really actually all of these changes can be like overwhelming, and that's why we need to like support each other and help each other. And it was just like a really like raw moment in the movie where like the leader of the group was just like, oh, she's so cool, everybody wants to be like her, and then like watching her kind of like fall apart when like some of these big changes were actually happening to her, and Margaret like watching that and realizing like what that all meant, that it is actually, not as cool as maybe she thought it was. And another really good part of the movie was when Nancy was always teasing this one girl who was just so far advanced. She's the tallest girl in the class, she's the biggest girl in the class, and she likes older boys and does all this stuff with older boys. And Margaret ended up being in a group project with this girl that they were teasing all the time, and Margaret ended up being not very nice to her, and the girl got really upset and was basically like, you're lying and you're making fun of me and you guys don't even know me and this and that. And Margaret felt really bad and ended up like trying to like befriend her in the end and being like, I'm sorry, I didn't, like, it was just all stuff like my friend group had said about you, like she didn't even know it was true. And so there's a lot of like good like life lesson nuggets in the movie. Like, I highly recommend it. I thought it was good. And then again, like after the movie, being able to like ask questions about like, and I kind of gave some commentary like throughout the movie. It was like, I don't know if I really agree with how they did that, or I think they could have done it differently, or like, do you have any questions about that part? Or, and if you do this type of night with your girl where your daughter, just know like it's okay if they don't have any questions. It's okay if they don't want to talk about it. It's okay if, they seem disinterested in it. Like, it's not about them being 100% invested and interested in all this stuff that's going on. It's about them being prepared and have seen these things before and have hearing about these things before they have to go to school and listen to it with their peers and their classmates and people that are older than them. That's the point. Like, if they have questions, they will come to you. And this isn't just going to be like a one time deal either, right? Because, I mean, like after that, I even think in like starting in like fifth or sixth grade, like we should be preparing our girls and daughters to be like, hey, you're going away for the weekend, you're going to the friend's house, you're going like to camp. Like, do you have in your bag like a period survival kit, basically? Like, do you have like keeping that conversation open, because nobody knows when those types of things are going to happen, and you don't want your daughter to be like not prepared for when that stuff is going to happen, because it's like overwhelming. And so like I think as soon as you start the conversation in fourth, fifth grade, like keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up and keep bringing it up, even like into high school. Like, let's talk about it. What's the next thing? Pretty soon boys are involved in a bunch of other stuff that I haven't even dreamed about dealing with yet, but it's going to come. And I just think it's important. I really hope that this helps somebody who doesn't really know how to talk about things with their kid, or even maybe you as the adult feel like uncomfortable, embarrassed about talking about it, that it's okay. And that, I don't know, it's just important to have that time, I think. And if you have more questions, or if you have comments on things that you've already done with your daughters that you think you could like add to this list, or different things, maybe you have different resources than me, like I would love to have them, share them, pass them along. If you're a nurse out there and you want to tell me how to like teach all of these things correctly, like that'd be great too. I would take it all. But yeah, I hope that this was informative to all of you girl parents, girl moms. If you got a girl in your life, if you got a mom in your life that has girls coming up in that age, maybe you want to share this resource with them and be like, hey, I heard about this, maybe we should start. You want to start like doing something, make it a fun like girls weekend, I don't know, be creative and be fun. And yeah, I hope this helps, and we will see you next week.